Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com, remember carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
I don't want to grow up. Bomb, do you want some?
Jurassic Park. Now playing at Pet Sematary.
Ecto-goggles with Ecto-Buffer, Neutrona Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central, all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some podcast.
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
At 119.
119. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. And apparently, it's episode 119. That's what I was just informed of.
But I checked my notes, then our last episode was 118.
How are your notes doing? What kind of notebook are you using?
Dude, this is a Kessel Crew notebook that I found.
Oh boy.
It's,
Fancy.
It's a Hans. It's from Solo. It's got, what's the guy that played it? Yeah, it's terrible.
Aaron.
It looks fake is what it looks like. Like it couldn't have actually come from a real movie, but it's got Lando and Han. I know.
I think it did.
I still think that movie was fake. I saw it the Honest trailer for that?
Yeah,
just
they put
came
it out.
That was funny.
It was pretty good.
That's pretty funny.
Well, hello, everybody. I have a confession.
Yeah.
We just saw Venom.
Okay.
And we're going to get into it, but we stayed to the end credits where they played about a 3 or 4 minute clip from the upcoming Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated feature, which looks awesome.
Right.
And as it was going on, a couple people were coming into the theater for the next showing of Venom. Like these two dudes who look super stoked to like be there. They had their popcorn and their treats and their snacks and everything. They're a couple rows behind us. And right when it ended, Abby went, "Well, that was better than Venom."
And Jake, I got a really big laugh. I was about to go and tell them about Yes Have Some podcast. I was like, "You guys like that? Listen to my podcast."
There's more where that came from.
Wait, are we just going to start sitting in movie theaters soliciting?
Whoa. Yes.
If you guys like movies, you'll like our podcast.
But we have to do like really good jokes so that we get their attention.
You just go to toy stores?
And just
Oh, wait. Toy
heckle.
stores aren't a thing anymore. At least big ones.
Maybe. Who knows at this point?
Jeffries, is Toys R Us coming back? I read the whole article and I was more confused at the end of reading it than I was going into it. All right, we're back.
Okay.
You guys ready to just start where we left off?
Should we start where we left off and maybe address what just happened and that I'm in a hurricane right now?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and do
go
it. Let's
for it.
just
We're
say
going.
it. Let's
Jake's
be
in a
real.
hurricane. I mean, we all are.
100% authenticity.
Okay.
I painted one of my hands, but not the other. Painted my nails. So
You painted your whole
only
hand?
my left hand is painted. So there you go. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, we're recording. There's a big hurricane hitting Florida and southern Georgia right now. So Jake's kind of in the path. We're not really in the path, but I was just watching some videos. It looks very insane in Florida right now.
Well, I read that it's like one of the worst hurricanes to hit the United States in a very long time. It was like a Category 5, or I think it's down to a 3 now. But it was pretty big, and where I'm at was kind of directly in the path. I think it's moved a little bit, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But like,
is it weird recording like in a raft?
Just
I'm
floating
scared
down
of
your
getting
street.
shocked.
Shocked. I thought you said shot. Like, you know how in hurricanes, a lot of people know this, when you're floating through the streets of your hometown, a lot of people like to sit on their roofs and have target practice. So just be careful out there.
People are terrible.
We were
Jake, I'm glad you're okay.
we were talking about Toys R Us making a comeback as Jeffrey's toy box. And I basically decided during this break,
while Jake rebooted his internet to read about what's going on. So it is basically what happened. All the assets were up for auction, and they decided to do some restructuring and, I don't know, a bunch of financial things that I don't understand, but it is coming back as Jeffrey's Toy Box. And what it's going to be is kind of like a store within a store. So they're going to set up Jeffrey's Toy Boxes at other retailers as like their toy section.
So they're not going to open it's not like the giant Toys R Us is going to reopen.
No, it's like you'll go to Kohl's and their toy section will be called Jeffrey's Toy Box.
Oh.
Well, that's weird because it's going to be super small and limited to what they're going to have, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Unless we can,
like, I'll be honest, man. Like, we've talked about all this at length, but anything that I would have bought at Toys R Us, there are 3 other stores in town where I can get the exact thing. So not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I was always looking for at Toys R Us was, it wasn't even like their main toy lines. It was just like the adult collectibles, so the NECA stuff or the Playmobil stuff. Yes, I just called Playmobil adult collectibles. So whatever, it's fine. We'll manage.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll manage. I bought a bunch of toys today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about it, Craig?
Oh, thank you. I on a Craigslist. No, not Craigslist. Facebook Marketplace. Have you ever used that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's better than Craigslist, I think, because it links with Facebook Messenger, so you don't have to like. Also, there's no scams. It doesn't feel it feels more legit than Craigslist. Mm-hmm. Anyways, there was a lady selling like 40 Ninja Turtles action figures from not the most current series, but the one that started in 2012,
I think
2012. I don't know. Whatever the last one was, the one that just ended. Yeah. I don't have any of those figures, but I've been on a Ninja Turtles kick lately. Been watching a lot of the new series, Rise of the TMNT, which I love. Absolutely think it's fantastic. And I was like, well, I'm probably going to end up watching this last series at some point because I've seen some of it. Jake, we've talked about it. It's very good.
I've been watching it recently. I found out that either most of or all of it is on Hulu.
Okay.
And I've been going through watching it. It is great.
That's nice.
So I got a good deal. For $35, I got 40 figures, and a lot of them have their accessories with them. There's one like 12-inch Leonardo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
About 25 of the regular figures. And then there's like an assortment of like minifigures and blind box figures.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
they were all in a gift bag labeled ninjas when the lady gave it to us.
Yes.
I love it.
It's always good. Ninjas are notorious about just labeling all their stuff. I thought it was cool though. She was like, hey, I sell a lot of toys. And in my head I was like, well, you're getting ripped off because you just sold me about $200 worth of stuff for $30, but cool.
Yeah, but then she took us into her like back room space with more toys.
Oh, she's like, oh, you know about toys? She started asking me questions. She had some other stupid shit back there.
I don't know what that shit is. That's like a toddler
she's
toy.
Listening.
Oh yeah, she's definitely listening.
So we gave her our card.
So that was my score today, and I also I like talking about the stuff we buy. I also picked up a bunch of the Playmobil sets, the Ghostbusters sets. Speaking of Playmobil, a bunch of them were on sale on Amazon. So I had not gotten any of the real Ghostbusters stuff because while it was coming out was when Toys R Us was closing down. So I never even saw it. Mm-hmm. And obviously you can order anything on Amazon, but I always like to I like picking stuff up at the store. It makes me feel,
it's more fun.
Me feel good.
Absolutely.
So pick those up and really happy with those. They announced at New York God, there's so much going on. New York Comic Con, Playmobil announced. I think we talked about it last week. They're going to have an Ecto 1A and some other new figures. So you don't want to get behind. That's the last thing you want to do is get behind on your Playmobil collection.
No,
can't do it.
I can't.
Jake, where are you on your Playmobil Ghostbusters collection?
I got everything from the first, the first series that came out. I got all of that stuff. I also have never seen any of the real Ghostbusters. Just like you said, Toys R Us was closing. I don't even know anywhere else that sells that stuff. I haven't ordered. I don't care as much about the real Ghostbuster stuff. I want that Ecto 1A. I want that badly. I'll get the Ghostbusters 2 stuff. I still have a Ghostbusters Firehouse in the box somewhere from the first. I never opened it. It's just
for real,
in the
dude?
box.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Just
Dude,
somewhere.
you better open that.
I don't know where it's at. I was honestly looking for it the other day, and I was like, where did I put this thing? It's somewhere.
That's a good feeling, though, as a toy owner, just to be like, yeah, I don't know. It's huge. It's somewhere.
It's in Jeffrey's toy box.
It's nothing to me.
I also haven't. I got a couple of those Savage World figures, which I know Craig you did too. I'm looking at them right now. I haven't opened them yet, and I haven't decided if I want to open them yet. But I've also just realized that both Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers' name are spelled wrong on the box.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Maybe
So
there's.
great.
Hey, maybe they don't even have the actual license for them.
Well, I'm thinking that must be it. But it's weird because the Halloween one says Halloween Resurrection on it, and I'm like, wait, why is that Halloween Resurrection? And I also noticed the Hellraiser one says like Hellraiser 3 on it, and I'm like, why are they so specific?
Whoa.
In which parts these are from?
Yeah, I guess they probably just get certain rights to whatever specific film based on.
Yeah,
I don't know the licensing. I don't know. That is weird. How do they spell Freddy Krueger? It's just like
That's what I was going to ask. What's
his last name Krueger on the box is Kreuger, and that's not how it's spelled.
Dude.
And Myers is spelled wrong. It's Meyers.
Oh, maybe
Dude, are you for real?
maybe it's just Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Well, now do we have those in package, Craig?
No, I opened them.
I want to go buy more now so that we have those like weird, whatever that is, a variant, like weird misspelling. I love that kind of shit.
Yeah,
I think, but I mean, honestly, I think like what Craig's saying, I think it might be a purposeful thing where they were like, well, you can have the rights like this, but don't put Michael Myers. They can't say Michael
hey,
Myers.
you better not spell his name right.
I don't know. It seems weird to get two of them wrong. Those are the only two I have, so I can't. I'm not like looking at the rest. But
you look at the pinhead and it just says Deadhead. You're like, wait a minute, wait a minute. These are all wrong.
that would be amazing.
Jason the Jason figure doesn't say Jason. It says son of angry mother.
Special boy.
It just has an extra letter in the name.
Yeah.
Dude, that's funny.
So I really like those Savage World figures, and also at New York Comic Con they released images. They're going to put out a line of Batman style figures like that, which
cool.
they're fine, they're whatever. But
I think it's cool, man.
They're cool, but they're also putting out a Batcave.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw this. I would definitely look it up. It's in the style of like the old Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
And it's the same size as it. Comes with a ton of accessories, a throne, weapons. And I'm just like, man, Funko's killing it. I'm definitely going to buy that. I'm going to put my misspelled Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers figures in it.
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping they maybe do a like series 2 with the horror figures, because the Batman figures do look cool to me, but I'm not going to buy any of those. These horror figures, I will keep buying them. I like think of like if they did a Scream. I think they could keep going. They could do a Scream. Like think of a Chucky.
Oh
Yeah, that's what I was
so
thinking.
Silly looking.
Yeah.
Like,
Speaking of Scream, when I was driving home today, there was a guy riding his bicycle down the... this was so funny. We had a stressful day, so I completely forgot about this. But I was driving home, and a guy passed me on his bicycle. He looked like a teenager. And he had like, you know where your basket would be on your bike? Like a basket in front? He did not have a basket. He just had a Scream mask.
that's
He decorated his bike.
Yeah.
That's
pretty cool.
In my head, I was playing that song, like that Red Right Hand.
Yeah. That's a good song.
It's a great song.
Nick Seed, I think, or Nick Cave in the
Nick
Bad
Cave,
Seeds.
yeah.
It's a good song.
I should have pulled over and been like, tight, man. What'd you think of Scream 4? Jake hated it.
Yeah. What about Scream 3? What about the end? Is the end always good, or is it always bad? What do you think?
know. We're gonna have to
let's
figure
get
that
him on
out.
the show.
So, yeah, Jake, have you bought anything besides those Savage World figures?
I bought the Savage World figures. I did buy. I finally found the classic NECA Pennywise.
Okay.
I picked that up, and I also picked up a few like random. There's some blind box figures. I'm trying to collect those. Bought a few of those over the weekend, and there's also this company which I feel bad because I don't have the box in front of me. and it's not Funko, it's not any of these companies I've heard of, but they have released 4 figures. It's Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Chucky, and the newer Pennywise, and they're kind of like, do you know what like a Cupid doll is?
Yeah.
They look like that. They're like really cute looking, and they're very cool. And I came across them. I'd been seeing people post them like on Instagram and stuff, and I came across them at FYE, and I picked up the Pennywise. They're super cute. They're like $10. So I got a couple small things here and there, but I don't know, man. That's about it.
Okay.
That sounds pretty good, though.
Abby.
I like it.
I feel like people, like, we haven't done this in a while because I think we all went broke over the summer saving up for Dragon Con.
We did. Yeah.
We were poor.
Ooh, money, please.
But, Abby.
Yes.
Have you picked up anything recently?
Yes. And I'm scared to go to Universal Studios in a few weeks because I've been back into the world of Harry Potter, and
it's the Wizarding World.
The Wizarding World. Yeah. I feel like if I haven't mentioned it, I should have. They have like mystery wands at Walmart that are exclusive there.
What is a mystery wand?
I mean, you can get one of, I don't know, probably 12 different wands from different characters from Harry Potter, and inside the package looks like a giant Kit Kat, which is awesome, like the shape of it. When you open it up, like the wand is inside of a nice soft like velvet encasing, and there's like a holographic bookmark of the character whose wand you got. And it's just everything I want. Like it's big, it's cool. Substantial. Yeah, exactly. It's got weight to it. Like I want a nice wand display set. I don't know what to put them in yet, but dude, yeah, I got that.
How many did you get?
I got 2 of them. I've opened one before that I bought like a few weeks before, and it was Voldemort's. It's very cool. The bookmark's very cool too. I'm using it, so.
I'm gonna get one. That sounds cool. You sold me on that.
For a $15
it was the giant Kit Kat part.
For a $15 wand, they're pretty well done. Like they're not cheap. They've got some weight to them.
Yeah.
But,
and they also have smaller wands at Target that are like $5, so you can display the identical smaller version of the larger version next to it.
Gotcha.
Which is
You gotta have both sizes.
Why not? Right?
You gotta have the travel size.
Thank you.
And Jake, you know those nano figures, the little metal ones? You've seen those at Target?
Yep. Yeah.
They're all just like on sale. I don't think.
And they're already just like so cheap.
They're already cheap.
$1 or less. Yeah.
But Abby picked up. What'd you get? The
Harry Potter, like I believe it's Dumbledore's like office space. But yeah, it's like a play set basically. You see it in the adult section in most Targets. So
cool.
I've been eyeing it for a while, and Craig bought it for me. So thanks.
Yeah. And for all of our listeners out there, we are actually always very interested in what you're buying. Mostly because like it inspires us to go buy stuff, and
it's fun. It's like it's like a cycle, but
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, me too. I love people who are inspired by us to buy more things.
Yes.
My friend Julia messaged me. She was like looking at a $700 Balrog like mount for her wall, and I was like, God. Get it. You should do it.
Speaking of that, before I move on, we do want to see your stuff. Go to facebook.com/group therapy. That's not how you get there. God. Facebook.com/
Hey guys, it's hard.
Yes, have some cast. And then find our official Facebook group, Yes, Have Some Group Therapy. And get on there. Join up if you're not a member yet. And let us know what you've been buying. We coined the phrase barging about 6 months back. Yeah. To barge is to make a questionable yet very important purchase of a toy or collectible that you've been wanting, even if you can't afford it. Even if you have to maybe skip paying some bills for it.
Yeah.
You got to barge.
Move some things around. Yeah.
You got to barge. Barge. Hey, you'll just pay the water bill next month.
Yeah.
Or who needs water?
You'll be fine. You go, you get a couple jugs. It's good.
Barge goes on sand, not water. You'll be fine. So one last thing. This Abby has heard about this all day. There's I'm not a big Redditor, but I know a lot of people are. But I do get on Reddit from time to time. Mm-hmm. There is a subreddit called Amateur Room Porn. Okay. And what it is people just post pictures of like their living rooms, like, or their, like people, their kitchen.
Like food porn, there's room porn. Yeah. It's not actual porn.
Now, I don't want to go into details on how I found or how how I stumbled upon this subreddit. But once I was there, I was hooked. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
This is better than porn.
So this is better than porn. It's a room. I posted a picture of like our living room, and it's a picture that Abby had taken a while back. And
it's my cover photo right now on Facebook. So
yeah, overnight, it kind of blew up. And as of right now, has, I think, 4,000 upvotes. Which is pretty crazy, but
yes, we are bragging.
We're bragging, but guys, you know, I woke up this morning and I just felt different. I felt better about myself after all these upvotes. The comments, there's over 100 comments. People are fucking crazy. It's a combination of people like, what are you, the 40-year-old virgin? High five. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Got a lot of that.
And then there's other people who are like, oh, cool, I live in Atlanta too. We should hang out. Like, no.
No.
We can't. Then there's people just fat shaming our cat because she's in the background and people are like, whoa, that's a big cat. What are you feeding it? Hey, look, someone said, I think this has to be like a European phrase. Someone goes, that cat is a unit. I was like, oh,
what?
UNIT.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe one of our European or maybe it's not even European. Someone's like, no, that's just what the kids call for
I'm taking it as a compliment. So thank you very much. And
anyways,
yes.
So if anybody wants to see what the living room looks like, head to reddit.com/r/amateur room porn, and we should be the top post.
Yeah.
There you go. You guys ready to talk about Venom?
I'm so ready.
Let's do it.
All right. So we talked about it a little bit early on. Venom's a thing. I don't even know where to start with this one. Why don't we just do a round table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we like it?
I mean,
was it better than Answer the Call? That's our. I'll start off. I never get to start off. Okay.
Sure.
I thought that this movie was. I can't say that it was painful. It wasn't bad in the way where I was just watching it going, oh, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I didn't feel that. But I did feel more often than not bored and confused by its existence.
Mm-hmm.
There was about a 20-minute stretch midway through the movie where Tom Hardy was kind of transitioning like into having Venom be part of him, where I was like, okay, I'm kind of entertained, but the second I felt a little bit entertained, I got extremely bored. Like, I would give this movie out of 10 like a 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to even say like, oh, I think there's a good movie in there somewhere, because I really don't. I think there's a good Venom movie that could be made. I don't think this movie was formulaic in a way that a lot of people have said this in the reviews. It felt like something that would have been made in like 2004. Like, it was predictable. All the beats where it was supposed to be funny, it didn't feel funny. Tom Hardy's a weird casting choice for Eddie Brock. And like, I'm not going to claim to be like a comic book expert or a Venom expert. Jake, you're probably going to be much more well-informed about that stuff than I am. But overall, I would say I did not enjoy Venom.
Yeah. Oh, yep. I think that Jake should go last because he probably has like the biggest wealth of knowledge about Venom in general. But
sure,
I did not enjoy this movie. I would give it like a warm C-, probably like a 2 on the 1 to 10 scale.
I love that, a warm C-. What is that?
It's like there were moments actually by the end of the movie. I was like, there could have been a good movie in here, because seeing Tom Hardy functioning as like communicating with Venom, like with it under control and stopping evil, even though that last bit, which was like part of the like the teaser or the trailer for that movie, that ended up being like pretty much the last scene.
That's a new thing that they're doing with movies.
Yeah,
they're putting the last scene of the movie.
Dude,
yeah.
That's not cool or sneaky or anything. It's unsatisfying when you're like, oh, I've already seen this, yet this is the very end of it. The best part of the movie, you've already spoiled it, Craig, was the 6-minute cut from the new animated Spider-Man movie. But yeah, back to Venom. It was not God, it was there. Tom Hardy, I love him. God bless him, I guess. I don't say that often, but I really do like him. So I wouldn't say it was painful to watch him in this role, but he's so hard to understand. It was something that I personally was having a hard time getting past, like the idea of him being a reporter when he doesn't seem to really fit that role, and how his career came crashing down all basically in like one day, and he's like looking at want ads for like dishwasher jobs. And I'm like, in the real world, he would probably just be starting a podcast or going to like a rival network or doing something else if he was as good and as famous as he seemed in the beginning of that movie. I also hated Michelle Williams in that like fake Pepper Potts character. I was just not into her. She had a wig on. It was weird. Sony does weird things. And seeing the Sony logo in the beginning of the movie, I would just get flashbacks to Answer the Call. But yeah, dude, I wouldn't say it was like a flaming turd. I've heard people say that because of that line or whatever, but it was not great.
Jacob Walsh.
Yeah. This movie sucks.
All right,
sucks.
Everybody, that was episode. Okay.
This movie is dumb. It's very like this movie feels like it feels like a 2-hour pre-show Universal Studios video. Like none of it feels real. Like the action sequences, like the motorcycle scene is it looks very bad. It's just like it keeps cutting to like Eddie Brock with these really dumb one-liners. It feels like you're watching the Terminator show at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
But it's fine when you're watching something live at Universal Studios and it's 10 minutes long and it's a little cheesy. When it's a fucking 2-hour, movie with like millions of dollars behind it, it shouldn't feel like that. This whole Venom character is so far from what Venom is ever that it makes no sense. Like, I don't even know if we have enough time to like go through all the weird shit in this movie. Like all of a sudden Venom's like, oh, I like you. I want to protect Earth now. Like just the fact that they have Venom being like, I'm a loser on my planet.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's so stupid. Like,
Jake, there was nothing about fucking Tom Hardy or Eddie Brock that seemed like a loser other than the fact that Venom was calling him that. I'm like, he's a great looking guy. He had a nice apartment. He's got a good ass job. He's doing well. Like, what the fuck? That's telling, not showing.
I don't understand. What Tom Hardy is doing in this movie. Like, I don't know if maybe after he read the script and was like, maybe he jumped on because he was like, maybe he heard the word Marvel somewhere and he was like, oh, this is going to be good because all the Marvel movies are doing well. I'm jumping into it. And then maybe after he read the script, he decided to just fucking act like Jim Carrey in fucking Batman.
Dude,
his acting in this is fucking weird. He's like all over the place. He's like, his line delivery is literally it's like watching Craig, you said someone like compared it to Liar Liar. It seems like he is doing an impression of Jim Carrey and Liar. Like the scene where he jumps in the fucking tank and starts eating lobsters. I was like, oh, what movie is this? Like, this is weird.
Yeah, because nobody tries to prevent him physically from doing that. Yeah, none of that makes sense to me.
You know what really blew my mind? Riz Ahmed, who played Carlton Drake, which I guess is a character from the comics as well. He's kind of like a foe of Spider-Man and Venom or whatever. That dude plays Bodhi in Rogue One, and he's really good in it.
Yeah, like he's also in that movie Nightcrawler, and he's really good in that. Yeah,
and it's just weird because like I get what they were trying to do with his character in this movie. Like it felt almost like an Elon Musk, like this guy is a genius, but he's going to use his powers for bad. Like just kind of I'm just going to put it out there. This felt like a DC movie to me.
Dude, yes. There were like notes of Jesse Eisenberg kind of like that. Well, like, oh, he's a... Yes.
I was listening to another show and they were talking about this movie and I looked this up to try to see where I can find proof of this, but apparently, like, back there was the Sony leaks.
Oh yeah,
they were saying that the script, this Venom script, is the same movie that was going to be in like whenever they were doing the Amazing Spider-Man. However, with Andrew Garfield, this movie was going to be one of those, like they were going to make a Venom movie back then, and this is the same script is what they were saying. They're saying that like there are very like minimal changes to the script. And it feels like those Amazing Spider-Man movies. Like it just feels really dumb, and like Eddie Brock is a lot like Electro was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so like over the top and cartoony, and like where the fuck is this coming from? But like if you put all of the weird choices and the acting choices and the script aside, like this movie just Venom as a character is like, this is awful. Like Venom is supposed to be like the thing that, they made this movie PG-13 and they were like, we can't make it rated R because maybe we're going to try to, cross over at some point, and the other movies are not. But like, that's one of the good things about Spider-Man is like, Spider-Man is all like wholesome and he's fun and he's in a good mood all the time, and you really enjoy watching Spider-Man. Venom is supposed to be like the complete opposite. You know what I mean? Like Eddie Brock is not a good guy. He hates Peter Parker. Like he is a journalist, but he's like kind of a shithead. And the whole thing is that he's like jealous of Peter Parker, and he gets, the Venom symbiote and like becomes this fucking scary, like rated R. He's fucking shit up. It's supposed to be the opposite of Spider-Man. It's supposed to be the thing where, he's the ultimate Spider-Man villain. So you're supposed to be like, it's supposed to feel serious.
Does his character take like a face turn at some point? Like
he does at some point. But
they're just starting him off right now as like being like
so much later. Yeah, it's so much later, and it is more of like he does become kind of like a vigilante thing. But like for so long, he was just like, Venom was the big bad. You know what I mean? He was like the big villain.
My big issue is that in the comics, you can have standalone Venom comics and Venom stories, but like at its core, he's supposed to be the foe of Spider-Man, and it just feels strange to try to launch a standalone franchise without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like it, and that when the Joker movie comes out next year, like if they're not leaning towards Batman being a part of that world, then it makes it so much less interesting for me, because what's interesting about any of these comics is that you've got heroes and you've got villains who are like, two sides of the same coin, basically. And without that, like, I don't care about a Venom universe or a Spider-Man villain universe that doesn't cross over to the MCU, because I just don't have the ability to invest. Like, it's too hard to explain, like, why there would be a separate universe. Like, I'm sure people are going to this movie, like, the average everyday moviegoer does not know the difference between a Sony or a Fox or a Marvel MCU movie.
Yeah, some of them don't know the difference between DC and Marvel. Like, in general.
Oh, God, isn't that the worst one's like, dude, when's Batman going to, like, fight Iron Man?
Dude, I suffer those conversations at work. I'm like,
when's it gonna happen?
But it's even more so because like the Joker movie is a little different because we've had so many versions of the Joker and we've watched the Joker. Like we know what the Joker is about. Like this is kind of, besides Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, that I think most people have kind of just like forgotten about and like purposefully just kind of put out of their mind. This was supposed to be like, okay, we're gonna do Venom right. Like we're gonna, nobody's seen. It's weird introducing like everything I know of Venom is, reading comic books, collecting cards, watching the old animated Spider-Man series. And every time Venom, every time they get into the Venom storylines, it turns into a heavy thing. You're like, fuck, Venom is here. So then the first time you see him in a movie, it's just like he's fucking cracking jokes and like being a good, like, I'm going to help you save her. It's like, fuck that. That is not what we should be watching.
What Venom needs is somebody, the reason why Deadpool turned out so good is because Ryan Reynolds was like, look, I love this character. I want to do it justice.
I'm a comedic actor, which is not what Tom Hardy is.
Well, I feel like, and so this movie, it just feels like when when I'm watching the ending credits, and it's like, your familiar names at Sony, and you see Amy Pascal's name, and you see that it was executive produced by Tom Hardy, and it just, and then it was like, I feel bad. Like the director, Ruben Fleischer, like he seems like he's probably a good guy. He directed Zombieland. He's had some success. He was rumored to be involved with a Ghostbusters 3, project at some point. I'm kind of glad that didn't happen at this point. It just feels weird. It doesn't feel like there's a vision. It feels like Sony said, we have to have a Venom movie. We own this property. Let's do something with it. And
that's what's happening. Yeah,
that's what's happening. But it's making a lot of money, which is always
it is, and all these fucking like shitty. That's why DC still DC is making some of the worst movies right now, but we're all still going to see them. So like it's all of our fault. But
well, we have to see. We have a podcast.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, it's like a weird. These movies all are going to make money.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that it's good.
Venom made $80 million domestic. It almost made its budget back in one weekend, and it's doing really well overseas. Because the character
I think it also hasn't opened in China yet.
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. Any kid who grew up in the '90s, even if you just like Venom versus Carnage, wasn't that like a Sega game that everybody was obsessed with? Like, or Maximum Carnage, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that's who was introduced at the end of the movie, yeah.
The post-credit scene. Yeah, the Woody Harrelson. Like, it sounds like they're going to just keep rolling with it. What I would love to see is, like, what would be amazing if they were like, okay, this character works, people go see it, let's get a badass script. Like, I'm cool keeping it Tom Hardy, but maybe just like a little bit of a change in the tone and a change in the direction. And like, I would love to see this universe actually link up to the MCU, but not if it's going to be that.
I don't think they can at this point. I like, this movie's too bad. They can't do it. There's no way it's going to happen. Like, Feige had nothing to do. Like, he had no input in this movie. Like, this was all purely Sony. And, this movie's just like, there's no way, like, Marvel is probably looking at this movie and they're like, there's no way that movie is going to be associated with our movie. It's just not. It's not on the same level at all. I think to do Venom right, you need to, like, Venom is something that should have been teased in the very first, that should have been teased in Homecoming. They should have, like, it's too long of a story. Like, there has to be, the whole space, like, someone's got to go to space. You got to hear that first. The second Spider-Man movie should be him finding the black suit. Like, Spider-Man wears that black suit for a while before he realizes that it's not good for him. And when he takes that suit off, then it finds Eddie Brock and becomes Venom. That should be like the third movie, and it should be just like how Thanos is built up to, or some of these other like Marvel villains. He should kind of be built up to. It's too big of a history and too much of a story to just fucking throw it into a movie all of a sudden.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I think it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But it just wasn't fun, man. I want to I went into it open-minded. I mean, it's hard to be open-minded about a movie when literally everybody's saying, "Oh, it's a big piece of shit." Yeah. And then my own expectations, like, I didn't think any of the trailers were good. One thing that's interesting, two things I should say, is that about 8 or 9 months ago, it was reported and practically confirmed that Tom Holland filmed a cameo as Peter Parker.
I remember us talking about that
for this movie. I wonder if Marvel called and was like, "Hey, don't do that.
Probably.
Get it out of there."
Probably.
They sent Iron Man to pull him out.
Tom Holland's so innocent. He probably went and saw Venom this week. He was like, "Where am I? I thought I was going to be in this. That was cool."
He was like, he thought he was going to be the after credit scene. He was like, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
He calls Robert Downey Jr. He's like, Mr. Stark, where am I?
Hey,
it feels so good.
Like, who, you know, I can't stop talking shit about this movie. Who really wants to watch, like, a character that just eats people and bites people's heads off, like, in PG-13?
Dude,
like,
yes,
like,
good point. If you can't see, they cut away. It's stupid.
Yeah, there are like 4 or 5 times where someone's head or a whole body gets devoured. And it's cut away every time. Like,
Jake, I was like, I'm gonna have to go watch Hereditary when I get home just to get that satisfaction.
Even like Jurassic World shows a few. Like they cut away sometimes, but even like the Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World movies, like, will show somebody getting eaten. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think that's like, it's that weird tone of like, we're badass, but we also can't show you too much. That makes it feel like that Elektra or like some dumb, like early 2000s stuff.
Yeah. We can, you know, throw some light cursing in here and have the Venom curse to be funny, but we can't show you him eating anybody. Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Deadpool and Logan have proven that you could do an R-rated comic book movie and keep it faithful to the source material. But
it can also be so special that they do, like with Deadpool 2, like the edited version that's PG-13 for kids because it's got like a good message to it.
Let's just talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. And Tom Hardy said there was a lot cut from this movie. It's Sony. This is their track record. This is not surprising.
Right.
Let me tread lightly here. Hold on. Let me back up. Let me back it up. Beep, 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 beep. Remember that on Seinfeld? Okay. Okay, that was my Seinfeld reference.
Cool.
Why would we expect Sony to put out an intellectual property that is beloved like Venom or like Ghostbusters and give it the care and proper nurturing that it needs? Because if you go back to Answer the Call, when Answer the Call was greenlit, it wasn't because Paul Feig came to Amy Pascal and Sony and said, I've got a great idea for a story. I know how to bring Ghostbusters back and do justice to the originals. I know how to build this world and give you guys a franchise that can go on for 10 or 15 years. Mm-hmm. He said, I'll do it. He was the one director who was like, okay, I'll do Ghostbusters. And he had a track record of making successful movies and doing well in the box office. And he said, okay, and I'll do it with 4 women. That didn't even sell it on them. They just were happy that somebody was doing it. So therefore, that tells me that the casting of Tom Hardy was, oh yeah, we got Tom Hardy. And people like Venom. And I don't think they care about Venom. I don't think they care about the characters the way that you see happening at Disney with Marvel.
Yeah.
Where they say they have people who understand the origins of these characters.
Yeah. Well, it's because over at Sony you have just like a corporation and it's just like a group of, there's no, Feige over there. There's no person just overseeing everything who had, like, Feige's got a vision, like he's like, he knows where things should be going. And it's like over at Sony, it's just, you got a room full of people who are like, yeah, I guess let's make a Venom movie.
Sony has been trying to launch a Spider-Man villain universe for the past 5 years.
Why?
That Sinister Six movie was supposed to happen. Like, listen, Sony had their chance. They screwed up the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Mm-hmm. They screwed up by just releasing these underwhelming Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, and maybe they should just stop. Maybe they should do what they did with Spider-Man and said, hey, let's make money off these characters, but let's put them in the hands of people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what should happen, and it feels really like it's such a big letdown. It's exactly like how Marvel was like, you know, when the Avengers is happening and you're like, oh cool, there's this great Marvel Cinematic Universe that can't use, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, or Spider-Man, who are all big parts in the Marvel universe. And then, like, when Marvel finally got Spider-Man, you're like, oh, like, look how good this is. And it's kind of the same way with Spider-Man and Venom. You know, it's like, oh, Spider-Man can make their own trilogy of movies over here, but something is missing when you can't, you know, bring in some like really iconic villains just because Sony is like, no, we're going to make shitty movies with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you have it. Any final thoughts, Abby, before we move on to our...
That's just selfish. They need to share them, and they need to give them to someone with a vision, and
Listen, we talk... We talk... Listen, we listen. I was called out on that this week.
Hey, you got a catchphrase.
Listen. Where's my laugh track? I know that it's a lot harder than just saying, just do it, just make it happen. I know that there's a lot of hands in the cookie jar. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. It's not easy to get a movie made. It's a lot of money. There's a lot at stake. But what I'm saying is, if you look at Disney and you look at the MCU, they're doing it. They've done it. They've figured it out.
Yep.
DC is trying their best to figure it out. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I worry. And I don't really worry about Ghostbusters as much these days because right now, Ghost Corps is developing the projects that they think should be made. A lot of people don't realize this. If you go back to when Answer the Call was made, Ivan Reitman had nothing to do with that. Dan Aykroyd had their hands were tied. They did not. That's why they were actively developing a fucking Ghostbusters movie directed by the Russo brothers starring Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum. That sounds like some big-time Hollywood Reporter news. It just didn't happen because they couldn't get it done. They didn't have the control of the franchise yet. They couldn't be the decision makers, and they were basically swindled a little bit. They would never admit to it. Actually, Dan Aykroyd kind of has. What do you say? They're never going to let Paul Feig back on the Sony lot?
I loved him.
We should make Where's Paul Feig shirts for FanFest.
He lives in the Breaking Bad RV now.
Paul Feig's given the studio tour. Poor guy. Well, listen, we can wrap up our Venom talk, and we'll track the box office and track the developments. And but there's other things to talk about. But before we get there,
for sure.
I did want to let everybody know, if you're a listener of Yes Have Some podcast and you enjoy what you listen to on a weekly basis, please make sure that you are heading to iTunes. Even if you don't listen to us on iTunes, go to iTunes, search Yes Have Some, and leave us a review. A 5-star review and a few comments about what you like about YHS helps us more than you know. It gives us more exposure, gets our name out there. We've actually had a couple reviews in the last couple weeks come through, so we really appreciate you guys doing that. Keep them coming. It helps us a ton. And if you like interacting with us, if you want to tell us about what you're buying, if you want to tell us what you think of Venom, maybe you think it was amazing and you want to give us the business, find us on social media at YHS Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast. And of course, like we mentioned earlier, this is becoming my favorite segment of the week. I didn't know, but people seem to really enjoy it. So Abigail Gardner, if people want to find us on Yes Have Some Group Therapy, the official discussion group for Yes Have Some Podcast, what do they do?
I'm going to nail it this time. They go to Facebook, they log in, they go to Yes Have Some Podcast. I've already screwed it up. It's because okay, you know what, guys? It's not hard. Just search for Yes Have Some Group Therapy on your Facebook. It will pop up. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Then I have to approve you, and that's on me. So that's it. That's all you have to do.
I like that you always start with login as if
you gotta
start at the beginning.
Find a computer.
Library.
Obviously, if you can't find a library, go to a hotel. They usually have an internet access computer in the lobby. You can use it, and you get some continental breakfast while you're there too. It's pretty convenient. It's all free. It's just pro tips.
I have a question. I don't know if we can talk about this, but I don't know what our situation is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patreon.
Yes, it's a thing.
I'm wondering if we can talk about what's in these boxes yet. Have these boxes gone out?
They've gone out, but here's my trepidation. Okay. We've got a major hurricane affecting the South.
Right.
It's probably this episode is going to be released on Thursday. It's probably going to be 4 days or so until everybody's getting their YHS Collectors Club boxes. And if you don't know what we're talking about, what it is we've got patreon.com/yeshavesome is a platform where you can contribute financially back to Yes Have Some. It helps us with our website costs, our hosting, equipment, all of that. It's a way for you to support Yes Have Some for as little as $1 a month. You can become a Yes Have Some patron. And we've got all these tiers. $10 a month, you get the bonus episodes. $25 a month or higher, you get the YHS VHS Club. And what we're talking about right now is the Yes Have Some Collectors Club. And what that is for $50 a month, 4 times a year, you are going to get a box in the meal, with curated collectibles and Yes Have Some merchandise that we have personally selected. And you get this box in the mail. It's going to have 5 to 8 items. And it's amazing. We've got people who are getting these boxes now. They're part of the Collectors Club.
And the fun is in the mystery of what people are going to get in there. So we don't want to spoil it, but trust me, I wish we could.
But next week we'll talk about it.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Cool.
But yeah, if you want to get on the bonus episodes or get in with Yes Have Some Patreon, you're just going to go to patreon.com/yeshavesome. Every single dollar helps us more than we could even explain because we're just trying to keep the lights on, especially during a hurricane.
Yeah.
And Jake needs bottled water.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to send Jake any bottled water, batteries, flashlights,
maybe a raft,
like a generator, it's Jacob Walsh, 123 Main Street, Anytown, USA.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. No, it's actually
you're gonna do another
care
one?
of Linda Blair.
Yes.
Oh God, we're gonna get her.
Care of
That's not a threat.
Blair.
I'm just saying we're gonna get her on the podcast.
We're gonna get
her
her
on the podcast.
Yes.
Are y'all ready to talk about? I just said y'all. Look at me. I'm a Southerner. Today, Pet Sematary, the brand new trailer for the movie. It's coming out of nowhere. Like I feel like they just started filming this thing. It's coming out next year. It's the remake of the original based on the novel by Stephen King. Directed by Kevin Kölsch and Dennis Widmyer. They did that movie Starry Eyes. Have not seen it yet. I know Jake saw it. Trailer dropped today. Jake and Abby are Stephen King fanatics, or as I like to call, bona fide horror and ghost story. What is it? What's the line?
Are you doing The Shining?
I love The Shining. It's one of
horror addicts or
something.
like
I misquote The Shining all the time. But I'll tell you what, I went to a Longhorn Steakhouse the other day, sat down, and the bartender says, "Can I pour you a drink?" He poured me one, and I said, "Here's to 5 long, miserable months on the wagon." And, none of that happened.
When you started that, I was like, wait, you went to Longhorn without me? I'm so jealous.
And all the damage it caused.
it got some golf.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It got really
Secret
weird
Johns.
when I was looking at the hostess and I was like, I'm going to bash your fucking brains in. I'm going to bash them right in.
That's Craig's Saturday.
That's my Saturday. Let's talk about Pet Sematary. Trailer dropped. Stars Jason Clarke, who was in, I don't know, one of those Planet of the Apes movies and some bunch of other stuff. Let's do it, guys. Jake, what'd you think?
I think it looks good, man. Like they posted a few pictures and a poster a few days ago before the trailer dropped, and right away I liked everything. Like I'm into this cast. I really like the casting of Judd. God, what's his name?
Crandall?
Fred Gwynn.
John Lithgow?
John Lithgow.
I really like John Lithgow, and I think he's a good choice to play Judd. And the fucking church looks great. I love that it looks like the cat from the original artwork.
Yeah, on the cover.
On the cover of the book. The fucking font on the poster is like the Stephen King font from his old books. It looks cool.
Yeah.
The trailer looks great to me. It looks really creepy and spooky, and it's got a nice like atmosphere to it. Like there's a lot of hints, of stuff from the movie and from the book in there. I will say really quick, I'm trying to just do my quick quick thing. The only thing of the trailer that seems weird to me is all the kids with the masks.
I knew Jake was not going to like the kids with the masks.
Abby wrote that down. Jake will not like kids with masks. Jake does not like kids with masks.
Well, here's I'll say why really quick. Like at first, so you see them. Obviously, they're doing like a funeral, and in that context, it's fine. Like it's fine, but like it shows them like popping up in the house and stuff, and I'm like, are we gonna get weird ghost kids with masks throughout this movie? I know it's like super
it looks like the Wyatt family on WWE.
Yeah, it's like super. It's super weird, and like that's such a like lame horror movie trope to throw in
laughing children.
Pet Sematary has a lot of very scary things in it. It doesn't need like kids in masks like that. It doesn't need that.
Yeah.
But it's too early to tell.
You could chalk that up to like a dream sequence or some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not too worried about it. Besides that, everything else in the trailer I think looks really good. Like you get like 2 small glimpses of Pascal, and he's terrifying and just gross and scary. They don't show Zelda, which I think is good, and I don't want to see. I don't want to see anything else. Like I don't want to see Zelda.
Hey Jake, nobody ever wanted to see Zelda.
Nobody wants to see Zelda. I did read that.
Craig's shaking his head. He doesn't understand.
I'm on the Breath of the Wild Wikipedia right now. Like they're talking about Zelda for some reason. I just bought an ocarina off eBay.
For those who don't know, Zelda is like a child. I don't know how old I can't remember how old she is in the book, but she's a child who has some pretty big health conditions, and she's like scary to some of the other, like she's just a scary character. In the movie, she's played by like a 30-year-old guy in really heavy makeup, and I read that they're going to keep this closer to the book. It's not going to be played by like an adult. It is going to be played, by someone the age of the character. But they said they weren't ready to reveal that yet, and I don't think they should. I think they should keep some of that scarier, heavier stuff away from the advertising. It looks great. I like Starry Eyes. That movie's really intense. I think it'd be good. Like I've read a lot of good stuff from these guys where they've said, they want to be respectful to the movie and the book, and they are going to be doing some things that the movie doesn't do. They are going to take some liberties, but everything they're doing, they're trying to keep in spirit of the story, and I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah, dude.
Abby.
I mean, I agree with you on all those points. I felt a little bit weird seeing the kids in the masks because it felt like something that wasn't necessarily part of the book, and it also did remind me of the Wyatt family a little bit. But yeah, I think that saying possibly that's a dream sequence kind of calms those fears a little bit. I thought that I like the way that the trailer rolled out because it was kind of similar to the book in the way that it's like, it's slow, it's beautiful. You look at the house, you're taking it all in. And then when you see the giant semi drive by, it's like a kind of, you feel that goosh. And then by the end of the trailer, things are like going rapid fire and you're seeing really terrifying stuff.
Right.
It's spiraling out. I like the kid who's playing Gage. He looks just like the kid from the original movie.
It's two kids, by the way.
Let me try
twins.
Let me try.
Let's give them both credit.
Those kids look a lot like that kid who played Gage. You forget Gage was a big part of our childhood. That guy's in a lot, and I want to get him on the podcast. The kid who played Gage, his name's Mike O'Hughes.
Yep.
He was in
New Nightmare.
New Nightmare.
Oh shit.
Full House, Pet Sematary, Kindergarten Cop. Isn't he the one that says boys have a girl, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina?
Yep.
Hey, we should get him on the podcast, and the first question will be like, so that whole thing about girls having a vagina.
Tell us more about that.
Tell us. You still think that? So I'm gonna do some research and find out how to get in touch with Mike O'Hughes. Hey, there's a lot of listeners to YHS. If you know Mike O'Hughes, put him in touch with us. It's yeshavesomecast@gmail.com. We want to talk to him.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Back to the Pet Sematary trail. Abby?
Oh, I'm still chatting. Yeah, honestly, I thought it was a scary trailer, and I'm excited for this movie. I really loved the book, and the trailer, I watched it twice today, and I'm excited about it. Like, my thoughts are pretty much echoing what Jake said. I'm trying to think if there was anything that really stood out to me. I like John Lithgow as Judd Crandall. I really liked seeing the mist and stuff in the forest and the burial ground. I thought that the cemetery itself looked really good when you see the big knotted branches of the trees that are like behind it. It's eerie, and the things I loved about that book, it's like kind of a study on the passage of death and time and like the seasons, and like it's a very beautiful book in the beginning, and that imagery is in the movie, so I'm excited about it, dude. I think that there's some fucked up shit in the book too, which we haven't seen, like some of them flashbacks and stuff. So I'm excited. Oh yeah,
for sure. Like there's a lot of great scary stuff in there. Like Judd tells a story about his dog and about the bull that gets put in the pet cemetery. There's some weird shit that happens, and there are some sequences in that book like there's a scene where they're walking the path, or not even both of them. It's just the dad is walking the path to the cemetery, and he's like being haunted by all these ghosts the entire way there, and it's like a very scary part in the book that the movie never touches on, and I don't know if this one's going to do that either, but like just when they show, there's like a quick shot of the path with the mist that you were just talking about, and it instantly made me think of that part in the book, and I was like, oh, I wonder if we're gonna get some of that stuff. And I went back and watched the original Pet Sematary after I read the book, and I always really loved the movie until I read the book, and then I was like, oh man, there's a few things in here that I feel like really fell short of what they could have done. And when Gage comes back in the book, he is very scary. Like in the movie, he's very silly, and it was in the 80s, and it's a kid, and obviously
he's got like a hat and a cane, and
you can only do so much. Yeah, he's still too cute. He's like
he's
still too cute. But in the book, he's like talking at like a grown-up level when he comes back, and the things that he says to Judd like before he kills him are like, they're just like nightmare-inducing things that I'm just like, whoa, like this is awful what we're hearing here.
Yeah.
And I hope they do more of that. I hope. And I think they will. I don't think this is going to be, as silly. Like, if you think about the way the original Pet Sematary ends, it's very like creep show-ish. Like that movie is scary, but then there are a few things that are just like, oh, this feels like a comic book horror. This feels like Tales from the Crypt. And I think these guys are gonna maybe take some of that corniness out of it, and hopefully it's gonna be good and scary.
Yeah.
When I watched the trailer, it kind of reminded me when I watched the It trailer for the first time, because really I haven't read the book. My only frame of reference is the movie. And even though Pet Sematary, like a lot of the Stephen King adaptations were kind of made for TV, and they don't really age very well. They're pretty cheesy. But Pet Sematary is a pretty legit, like, it's pretty scary.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Fred Gwynne's awesome in that movie.
Yeah.
Although I do like John Lithgow, Third Rock from the Sun. Wait. Just had an idea, way off topic. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson should do a reality show once he has his third kid, and they should call it Third Son from The Rock. Okay.
Whoa! That's a great idea. That show will be made in like 20 or 30 years in homage to him.
There we go. But anyways, John Lithgow. Oh,
write it down.
John Lithgow was also in. He was in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and so these Planet of the Apes movies are really churning out some talent. Maybe Mark Wahlberg will be in the next Stephen King movie. God, I hope not. No, I swear there was a clown. I think this movie looks awesome. But yeah, it kind of reminded me when I watched the It trailer for the first time, where you're seeing like that. Modern horror movies are treated with much more respect, and there's a lot. There's an art form to it. Like when you watch a movie like Hereditary or any of these kind of critically acclaimed horror movies, or even It, like these are well-made films. So it's going to be really cool to see Pet Sematary in the hands of, unlike Venom, people who probably have a ton of respect for the source material. And like when Abby said, when that semi-truck goes by, you forget. My immediate thought is like, oh, they shouldn't have moved there. They should not have moved there.
You know what, Craig? They shouldn't have.
That's a dangerous.
That truck's going too fast. What's
Dang.
happening?
Hey, they better.
Oh my God! I just got so sad thinking about the book. Oh my God, that book is.
Yeah, there's some stuff.
Yeah.
Not that I know.
God damn it!
But
Yeah,
I saw you reading it.
Yeah.
I remember I was eating a snow cone, and I was like, "Oh, Abby's reading that book over there. Something's going on. I'm gonna keep eating this snow cone."
Yeah, I'm about to reread it. Like I want to reread it before the movie comes out. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and knock it out now.
Do it. Yeah.
That way, it's not like super fresh in my. Like I sometimes feel
too
like
fresh is not good because then you like nitpick.
And I've been all the Stephen King reading that I've been doing for the last 2 years. As soon as the book's done, I'll watch whatever movie, or if there was a movie, and some of these movies I had not seen before, and most of the time it has been like, oh, well, this is not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even some of the movies I have seen after reading the book and then immediately watching the movie, you got that book in the mind. And
yeah, dude.
I won't say all the time. There have been a few where I have liked the movie better. There have been a few where I haven't liked either. But
you gotta watch Pet Sematary 2 because I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
I haven't seen
Pet
it either.
Sematary 2 is great.
And we've obviously talked about going to the film locations here in Georgia.
Yeah, and your buddy's in it.
Yeah, you gotta. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
Edward Furlong.
I've tried to black his name out from my memory. Yeah, Edward Furlong's in that. So I guess we should see it.
There you go.
There you go.
I remember when the poster came out, I was like, dude, John Connor's in Pet Sematary 2? I don't even know what that is, but I'm watching it.
I just remember like the dad or the stepdad, I can't remember, is like eating and he's got like he got like duct tape over his neck. And there's like food coming out of it or something.
I can't wait to see it.
God, it's great.
Yeah. So,
this is also, Jake, a very good time of year to read that book. I read Pet Sematary this time last year. Yeah, exactly. So it's appropriate.
Do
it.
So yeah, we're kind of like in this really cool spot where like all these Stephen King books are getting like very
loving adaptations.
So we had It, and then there was the one on Netflix that's scary.
Gerald's Game.
That one.
The one that Abby's too scared to watch.
1922.
1922. Dark Tower, not as much. That's a whole different story.
Woo! That one got the Venom treatment.
Yeah, it did.
Sure did.
That one got. Did Sony put that out?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Of course they did.
Oh God, it is so funny because they did. It's not a joke. We didn't make that up. God, we're like don't you ever? Sometimes I wake up and I have a dream where I'm like, oh, Ghostbusters got sold to Universal or anybody else. No, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We got FanFest coming up next year. We're gonna be on the Sony lot. We better be careful. Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to let us on. We
Yeah.
got to be careful because
We're
they're
gonna
going to be listening to this.
We're gonna be in the outside of the Sony gates with Paul Feig trying to get into FanFest.
Yes!
Our girlfriends are in there.
Oh my God, blacklisted. I love it. That's so good.
Oh God, dude, Pete Mosen's just standing in the front. He's like, a lot of people's girlfriends are in
Dude, it's gonna be Mosen, us, and Paul Feig all on the outskirts.
Yep, that's what. Hey,
we're gonna have our own fan
Don't
fest.
lump us in with him.
John Yerkeba, please, if you're listening, and I know you are, will you please whip up a quick image of us, Paul Feig, and Pete Mosen outside of the Sony gates begging to get into FanFest?
Please.
While like,
Let me in.
like Troy and Chris Stewart are like eating hot dogs.
We're gonna have to put John on the payroll.
He's got to get on the payroll.
We keep asking him to do artwork.
Yeah.
for free,
I want to promote John's stuff real quick. John is doing the Inktober stuff, and he's putting up new images every week. And he's on another level with this stuff. He's doing an original series based on Tobin from Tobin's Spirit Guide, so it is Ghostbusters related. And he's created all these characters and this entire storyline, and the art's incredible, and just really props to him. So if you want to find his stuff, you're going to go to Instagram, and I just want to make sure I get his handle right.
It's John Yerkeba 4. That's JOHNYURCABA 4.
John Yerkeba 4. And give him a follow. Smash that follow button.
Do it. Smash it.
We really think he's doing amazing stuff. And talk about passionate about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, dude. I think those
sure.
Inktober sketches would look great on a set of cards.
Ooh.
Just saying that.
But I do want to see that picture of us begging to get into Sony.
I love it.
Oh God. I'm wearing a T-shirt that says Ghost Heads 316.
Dude.
I was at it.
It's like us and Louis Tully locked out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Good little pooch. Maybe I have a milk bone. Let's talk about that real quick. Why the fuck would he have a milk bone just on him? You know what? Louis Tully might have.
He might have. He was very prepared. He could have gotten it at a really good price.
Before we wrap up, I know we've covered a lot of ground already. I wanted to talk about this James Gunn stuff real quick. It kind of broke yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You called me yesterday to like tell you like, hey, big news.
Big news.
Big news.
I said, Abby, I have big news. And she was like, James Gunn was hired to direct Ghostbusters. I was like, no, Suicide Squad 2. I don't know. What'd you guys think? The internet kind of went crazy yesterday. I was thinking it was going to be another 6 months before we heard anything from James Gunn. I did see the horror movie he's doing with Sony was pushed back to next year. But DC is bringing him on to write and direct a sequel to Suicide Squad. There's no other details. I don't know if it's going to be a complete revamp or what. Jake, what did you think when you heard that?
First of all, good for James Gunn. Good for DC. I wish it wasn't Suicide Squad 2. I wish they were giving him like a new... I wish they weren't bringing him in onto a sequel because Suicide Squad was really, really bad. They should just give him something else. They should give him a new hero or something. But also, I think in order, like I don't want to just be like, oh, they got James Gunn now, it's going to be good. They have to also let James Gunn be James Gunn. Like Marvel, I know at first they didn't want to let James Gunn be James Gunn, but they did, and that's what created the success there. DC has problems listening and taking direction and just making shitty movie after shitty movie. So sometimes I think like it doesn't matter who you're getting to write or direct your movie because they're going to have 10 other people come in and change shit and whatever. They should if they're gonna let him write and direct it, they need to let him write and direct it.
I have a feeling James Gunn got offers from basically everybody in town.
Yeah.
And I am sure that one of his stipulations was just that. If I'm going to do this,
let me do my thing.
Exactly.
Let him do it.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. It's weird mixed feelings because I didn't like Suicide Squad at all, but I do love James Gunn.
Yeah.
And I was just waiting to see his name pop up attached to anything because I've missed him on social media. But it's weird, dude. Like Suicide Squad, I mean... What I want him to do is like start the movie with the entire Suicide Squad being killed off, and then a brand new Suicide Squad comes in that he creates.
Oh, that would be great.
That would make me happy. But yeah, the only way it's going to be good is if he does his own thing. And I have a feeling that if he was like the prettiest girl in town, so to speak, for a while and being offered a lot of movies, he probably would make the decision to go with one where he has creative freedom. And I hope that that's the situation here. I think Suicide Squad wanted to be Guardians of the Galaxy, so they are lucky to have a director who did what their original vision or what they were going for was, which is like the ragtag underdog anti-hero group. So he's perfectly matched for that. And if he makes it dark and twisted and funny and does his James Gunn thing to it and takes an underdog, which is DC, and then like revamps it, that would be amazing.
You know what? James Gunn might even have more freedom to go.
Zack Snyder had freedom, but he's, you know.
What I'm saying, though, is James Gunn can go pretty dark and pretty quirky, and it would be so awesome if we got whatever this ends up being, and you can't even compare it to anything else. Where it's just like, this doesn't feel like a Marvel movie, this doesn't feel like any of the DC movies, this feels like this other new thing that people are really into. I think that would be really cool. And I really, you know, he got such a raw deal. And
so maybe he's pissed off and angry, and sometimes there's really good writing in there. So.
My idea was cast all the Guardians as the Suicide Squad.
Dude, Batista will be in it. Rooker will be in it. Fuck it.
See, that's so weird to me. Like I don't know how I would feel watching something like that, where it's like this whole Marvel crew just now in it just seems so weird.
Right. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think Dave Bautista will be involved in somehow. And I do think Michael Rooker will probably be involved as well.
It's like the closest thing to watching, I imagine, like if you watch a sports team and your favorite players traded to another team, like you got to cheer for that team now.
Oh, yeah. That's actually...
Is that a good...
That was good.
Thank you.
Is that a sports thing?
Yeah, I just got a goal.
I don't know if I like it. No.
Abby just won a sport.
Yeah.
Remember that?
It's going to feel so weird watching a DC movie and it being good.
Hey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Remember what... This is way outside. Remember we were at Universal Studios a couple years ago and... there's like that basketball game. It's like impossible to win where you have to make 2 shots and then you can win that giant gizmo.
Yes.
And then I won it.
And we're sitting next to it right now.
Jake had no idea. Jake was like, well, I don't know what happened. Craig was doing something. There was a ball and he was throwing it. I don't know why.
There's like some string around this pole.
Yeah. So we're going to be back there in a couple weeks. I'm very excited.
Yes.
Hey, I am happy for James Gunn. I'm happy for DC in the sense that I don't know what's going to happen with Aquaman. I don't know what's going to happen with Shazam. I don't know what's going to happen with Wonder Woman 2. I don't know what's happening with Birds of Prey, which if you guys read, Birds of Prey is the new like Harley Quinn and other female vixens of Gotham kind of movie that is happening. It's greenlit. The reason why the original director left Suicide Squad 2 is because apparently his idea for Suicide Squad 2 was the exact same as Birds of Prey. That was the report yesterday. I don't know what's going to happen with any of that. But what I'm hoping is they figure it all out and that James Gunn does an awesome Suicide Squad sequel and that we can all breathe a sigh of relief. There's weird things happening. David Fincher is about to do
World War Z
Part 2.
Wasn't that the movie that killed zombies forever?
Yeah,
and
kind of. Hey, somebody, my closing thought today, somebody on Reddit had a post today was like, oh, it just dawned on me. The Walking Dead has actually become a zombie. Like a slow, struggling.
They're going to slowly hack it to pieces, basically, like characters.
Yeah, so.
Pretty cool.
Well, listen, there's a lot going on. We could go on forever about this stuff, but we got to wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning in this week for Yes Have Some Podcast. Coming up, we do have our horror episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks. We put up the poll on group therapy. Everybody found their computer. They turned it on. They logged into Facebook. They went to group therapy. The votes are in. So should we announce which movies we're going to be covering in depth?
Let's do it because I'm not even sure.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, please do. I know I watched most of Leprechaun last night.
The runaway movie franchise that won is Halloween. I'm not that surprised because people love that franchise. There's a new movie coming out. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a review for the new Halloween once it comes out. And then Halloween Day, at the end of this month, we will release our Halloween retrospective where we talk about the entire franchise as a whole.
So what you're saying is I better schedule a big block of time to go and watch all these movies. Some time.
But before that, next week, we are going to be covering the Leprechaun franchise.
1 through 4.
No. We're doing Leprechaun. I told Abby. Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun in Space, Leprechaun in the Hood, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, and Leprechaun Origins.
I am not rewatching the Hood movies.
I don't think
Jake?
I can.
Not doing it.
Like, you don't have time.
Jennifer Aniston in all of them?
I don't. No, she's
No,
not.
you're thinking of Seasons of Friends, which there's as many seasons of Friends. We're gonna watch. Listen, we're gonna watch a bunch of Leprechaun movies, and we're gonna talk about them, and then we're gonna have Warwick Davis on the podcast.
Damn,
I wish. Let's get him on here.
Somebody knows Warwick Davis. Tell him to call us.
Yeah,
I'll give my number out for that one. No, I'm not gonna do that. Yes, have some cast at gmail.com.
I'm not gonna get it to him any faster.
Why?
I mean, you think he's listening?
I think he could be listening.
I like that. That's good.
You know what? I wonder. Maybe we have some famous fans out there that we don't know about. Maybe a Leprechaun. Maybe a Wicket.
Maybe a Wiccan. Probably.
We probably do have a Wiccan fan.
Couple.
This is a big month for the Wiccans. All right.
I like this month.
I like this month too. For Jacob Walsh and Abigail Gardner, happy October. Happy Venom week. Happy Pet Sematary trailer release, and good luck and congratulations to James Gunn. We'll be back next week covering Leprechaun. I'm the leprechaun. We've had a lot of good Wayne's World references.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Leprechaun and Wayne's World came out the same year, so that was a very current joke.
Dude, they were so current.
I think in November maybe we should just do a Wayne's World episode.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Oh my god, I want to see Wayne's World 3 with all like modern references.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Garth, that's fake news. Whoa!
Why don't they? Dana Carvey's still doing that exact thing, like when you see him nowadays. So.
Oh, also the first reviews for Bohemian Rhapsody are out, and like I predicted, the movie's trash.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, we're get off my plane. Okay.